this overview of how to organize your home using Microsoft ToDo. My name is Nikki. I am the owner of Columbus Personal Assistance. This is something that we have used with our clients. I've used it in my own life. I find it really effective and easy. So let's jump right in. So again, we're using the app Microsoft ToDo. It should be available in the App Store, both for Apple and for any other type of phone that you are using. I definitely recommend using it on your phone. You can use it on your computer. That's what we're doing for the purposes of today's recording. So let's get started. So a few features that I really like about Microsoft ToDo is number one, this planned tab. So as you'll be able to see once we get down here into these different types of tasks, you'll be able to set due dates and have recurring tasks. And so everything that you have planned and that is going to be recurring is going to be automatically populated within this tab. So you'll see later once we start doing this, but you'll have today, you'll also have next week, you'll have, and then later, and you'll be able to see either today, next week, next month. You'll be able to kind of see where those tasks are falling, and get an overview of what you have coming up, which is really cool. Again, you don't have to add these manually. They just will automatically pop up in this tab, and you'll be able to see an overview. So when you first go to make your lists within Microsoft ToDo, what you can do is you can have groups of lists. So that's really easy to do. All you need to do is take two different lists, put one on top of the other, and then it should automatically make a group of lists that you can name. So this is my first group of lists. You can't see the full title, but it says Nikki's recurring tasks. And then there's a second one that I recommend having called Nikki's non-recurring tasks. So we will go over both of these. So let's get started. So for the recurring tasks, what I recommend is having a daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. You can do quarterly and yearly if you would like. That's up to you. For the purposes of just it remaining simple, I'm just going to stick with these. And then I also recommend having a product stock. So let's start with daily. So this is not my actual personal list. This is just an example that I made up for you guys. Mine is a lot more crazy and harder to understand right at this moment. As you build yours will get definitely more complicated, you'll see, but I want to just show you sort of simple right now. So this is the most simple list. This is just daily things that you would like to happen. Wiping the counters, getting the mail, making beds are some examples. Just so you know, you can click on each task and there are a couple of different options. If you want to make it complicated, you can add a step. I don't think I've ever really done that. You can also go through and manually add things to that My Day tab. I don't generally do that, but that is a feature that you can use if you want to have a daily to-do list. Again, as you'll see, these are going to, as you set due dates and you have them repeat, they are going to automatically populate within this planned tab. So, but you know, if you want to use that My Day one, you are welcome to. You can have reminders where you can set a time for it to remind you, pick a date and time where it will sort of pop up as a notification on your phone. Again, welcome to do that if you would like. I use the reminders more for non-recurring tasks because these recurring ones are going to be populated into this planned, as you'll see. You can also add a due date and you can have them repeat. This repeat is going to be important once we get into the weekly, bi-weekly, monthly things, so you'll see with that. You can also add a file, so you can add a picture directly from your phone. If you do have a personal assistant, this is really helpful because you can say you're having them organize something or pick up something from the store and you have a picture that you want to show them, you can just add that right there. And you can also add notes if you have further instructions. So say you were telling your personal assistant to wipe off the counters, you could say, hey, don't forget to get behind the toaster or whatever. So that's just a little overview of what you can do with each task. With these daily ones, if you want them to populate this planned thing every single day, you can. You can go to this repeat tab and you can hit daily, and it'll just automatically every day will say, hey, that's going to um, that's going to come up every single day in this planned thing, as you can see. So you can do that. I personally, I do. Some people might be annoyed by it, but I just like to see every day, hey, what am I supposed to get done today? And these will automatically pop up, just so that I'm not forgetting something, which is really handy. And then I can click them and say, hey, woo, sorry, that was really loud. Hey, those are done, and um, and it feels really good. But then tomorrow it will pop up in this plan thing again. So that's something that you can do with daily. Again, you don't have to, but I think that it's really really helpful just to get a full look at your day. The next tab or the next list is weekly. Now, this is really, really helpful, especially if you have a day of the week either that your personal assistant comes or that you like to do housework. My day is Friday because my husband goes and plays basketball with his friends, and I really like to just turn on Netflix and do some of these things. That's really helpful for me. I definitely recommend, if you're doing things yourself, to pick a day of the week where you're doing these things, where it's scheduled in your calendar. I think the problem with being so behind on housework is we don't put it into our calendar, and then we're so exhausted, and we think, oh, I don't have anything on my calendar, and so I'm just not going to do anything. So definitely recommend just having a weekly ritual with your household. Then you don't get to that day where you're like, oh my gosh, nothing ever got done, and now I need to spend 10 hours doing everything that I haven't done for 3 months. So definitely I recommend it. Actually will be less work for you if you have a weekly ritual. So again, my weekly ritual is Fridays. And so what's really cool is I can set this up to repeat. Again, go to that custom because I can say, hey, I want this to repeat every 1 week and on a Friday. Done. So because today is Friday, it says that it's due today. I'm supposed to be doing these things today, and I would do this for every single one of my weekly tasks. And again, what's really cool is it's going to pop up in this planned thing. So if I have all my weekly tasks set to Fridays, all of those are going to pop up in here. Then it's just my customized, automatically put together Friday to-do list, and I can go through and check that off. And I don't have to worry about, hey, when was the last time I scrubbed that stovetop? I just know that it's getting done. Or not that it's getting done, but that at least it'll be reminding me through this tab that it should get done. The other one is biweekly. So, for instance, I like to vacuum and mop my downstairs every other week if I can. And so, how do you set that up where every other week this is popping up in my planned? So, let's say I want to do this today. So I'll go to that repeat, and I'm going to say custom, and I'm going to say I want this to happen every 2 weeks on a Friday. Done. So that automatically says that it's due today. And then if you look at the calendar, that means it's automatically going to pop up again on the 10th and say, hey, that's due on the 10th. So every other week. So that's great. So today I want to vacuum and mop downstairs, but next week I want to vacuum upstairs, and I want to toggle between those two every other Friday. So what I can do with this one is, again, start with the repeat, do custom every 2 weeks on Friday. It'll say it's due today, but you can say, nope, I don't want that to be due today. I want that to be due on the 3rd instead. Save. So now what's going to happen is that is going to pop up next week, and then, let me just show you. So that's going to pop up in my planned tab next week on the 3rd, and then it'll pop up again on the 17th, where the vacuum and mop downstairs is going to pop up on the 10th, and then that'll pop up on the 24th. So as you can see, every other week, I'll toggle between those two things. And I can do the same thing. So as I'm vacuuming and mopping downstairs, I also want to, on that same day, wipe down my kitchen appliances, since I might as well just have that be the downstairs. So, come on, you can do it. There we go. Same thing. I can say, hey, I want this to repeat every 2 weeks on a Friday. That's going to automatically say today, since today is Friday, and it's going to repeat every 2 weeks. And I want that to happen all on one day, and then I can also set this to be due on Friday, April 3rd, and then repeat every 2 weeks. So then I can be doing upstairs and downstairs, and you can have a million like these where you're toggling between every other week. Very, very helpful. Again, as you can see, when we go to our planned things, you can see my today is filling up. Yay. These are things I'm going to be doing today. But then later, next week, I'm going to be vacuuming upstairs. And you can add more things to that as well. So you can see what your to-do lists are going to be like on different days. Very, very cool. Monthly is very, very similar. So I don't want to do all of these things all on the same day. So what I can do is I can spread them out in the same way. So let's say I wanted to, I already had that. I already had that on my weekly. Oops, that's okay. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so every month I would really like to reorganize my pantry, and every month I would really like to reorganize and wipe down my fridge. Doesn't take that long, but it's something that if I did monthly, then it wouldn't build up. So I think that I would like to do that today. Again, so what I can do is when you're doing monthly, I do not recommend using this tab because today is March 27th. What's going to happen is it's going to repopulate this planned thing on April 27th. And April 27th, I don't think is a Friday. And so if I want my days where I do housework to be Fridays, then what I'm going to do instead is click the custom. I'm going to say repeat every 4 weeks on a Friday. Done. That's due today. Say I didn't want to do that today. I wanted to start next week. So let's start doing that on the 3rd. So then if I set that as to being on the 3rd, this will automatically populate my planned list in 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3. So on May 1st, that's about a month. And every month that will happen. Yay. Same thing. So I want to clean out and reorganize my pantry. Let's do that. So first, again, the first thing you need to do is say repeat every 4 weeks. 4 monthly, and then have that due, pick a date. I'm going to do that on the 10th. Save. So that will pop up in my planned tab on the 10th, and every 4 weeks that will again pop up, which is really cool. If we go to planned, we'll see things are starting to come up. So I have a to-do list for the April 3rd. There's something that's going to be due on April 10th. And again, that today will always populate with whatever is due on that day, and that'll be your daily list. Again, really cool. The other one that I wanted to just kind of show you that's really helpful for me, just to remind me, because I think that sometimes I can be like, oh shoot, like I'm on, I can use my last squirt of my dishwasher soap, and then I can look and I don't have any left. And then it's like, oh man, I gotta go to the store. When am I going to the store next? Will we need this before we go to the store next? And then it just can feel like you're, again, like running around, putting out fires in your home. So what I recommend is I set that I look at my product stock every 2 weeks, and I set that for myself just so that I can see. You can do it every week, you can do it every 3 weeks. It's kind of up to you, and you can play around with that. And again, this is something that you can have your personal assistant do. But if you don't have a personal assistant, you can definitely do this on your own. I just have this pop up in my plan every 2 weeks, and then I'm looking at, again, these are just some examples of things that you can have in your product stock. I have a lot of these in my personal one, but it's really, really helpful because if I go, because I use a lot of diced tomatoes in my cooking. Oh, I only have one thing of diced tomatoes left. Oh, I don't have any diced tomatoes left. Then I can go, okay, now I can add that to my grocery store. Diced tomatoes. So next time I go to the grocery store, I know that I need those already, as you can see. Yay! So that's just really helpful if you have that, just reminding you to check that product stock. You'll never find yourself low on something, having to do an emergency run to the store. Again, also, I would imagine with kids that's hard too. So again, this just keeps you on top of what is going on in your household. So yeah, so that's the recurring tab. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me. This is so helpful, just for myself, and it's really helpful if you have a personal assistant, just to be able to delegate these things, and you're not constantly going, oh my gosh, they're coming on Wednesday. What am I even going to have them do? you just don't know what's going on in your own home. You don't know the last time the fridge was cleaned out. You don't know the last time maybe you even, vacuumed. You're like, oh, I think we did it a few weeks ago. Not sure. Does it need to be vacuumed again? Maybe we should. It just really helps you get things running more streamlined, more efficiently, which I love. So let's go move on to Nikki's non-recurring tasks. These won't take as long. These are just anything that pops up. That again, I did these just examples. Maybe you need to drop off something at your kid's school. Maybe you need to do a return to Amazon, take it to Kohl's, and these are just things that you can set due dates on. Um, because you'll have time to run an errand, say on Wednesday, and then you can look. It'll again I love it. I keep saying this, but it'll populate in that planned list, which I just love so much. It's so, so helpful. So that's something that you can do, but that's really just up to you how you want to do that. But this is just kind of a catch all, this non recurring tasks list. It's a catch all for just anything that doesn't fall under the recurring tasks. Special projects, things that are on your brain that have needed to happen for a while, but that you can just kind of have written down somewhere. I've sometimes set due dates for this, like, hey, on this Friday, I'm going to spend just 15 minutes looking at that basement or whatever. Or if you have a free Friday or whatever, you can look at these special projects and just know which ones that you need to be using. So then we have the as needed. Um, and this is just anything that you want to look at that maybe is not recurring but is as needed. This is really good for if you have a personal assistant, for them to just be looking at every single time that they come in. Or it could be for yourself. Again, you can set this to be recurring if you would like, just to remind you so it comes up in that planned thing. Again, this one is a little more flexible. And then that is non recurring. We have our grocery list just for groceries, so whenever you go, hopefully that is filled out. I'll do another video on meal planning using Pinterest, which I love and helps me a lot. But that's it for today. I hope that this was helpful for you. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions. If you have any suggestions, I'm definitely open to it. But we have found that this has been really helpful in our own lives, in our clients' lives. So that is about it. Thanks for listening.